Evening rush hour in Times Square. It's just after 5 p.m., and Times Square is swarming. Neon lights buzz against the twilight sky, flashing vibrant ads and casting colorful reflections on the sidewalks. Yellow cabs and black cars flow through the streets, honking and stopping as pedestrians weave in between. Malik, a middle-aged black taxi driver, sits in his cab, his hands relaxed on the steering wheel as he watches the crowds. A teenage girl, Amy, in her early 20s and dressed in her work uniform, stands on the curb with her hand raised, flagging down a cab. She looks tired, her hair pulled back, her expression a blend of determination and exhaustion. Malik pulls over, and Amy opens the door and slides in. "Where to?" Malik asks, glancing at her in the rearview mirror. "Brooklyn," she replies, settling into the back seat. "I just finished my shift." Malik nods, the cab pulling away from the curb as they dive into the tangled web of evening traffic. Small talk and shared experiences. As Malik weaves through traffic, he notices Amy staring out the window, looking lost in thought. He breaks the silence. "You work in Times Square. Must be intense." Amy sighs, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "Yeah, I bartend here. Pay's okay, but it's a lot. People think it's all glamour. No one sees the late nights, the drunk customers." Malik nods, understanding. "I get it. Driving this cab, I see all kinds of people, hear all kinds of things. Sometimes it feels like being invisible, just watching everyone else live their lives." Amy chuckles softly. "Invisible, yeah, that's one word for it. Facing racism and hate speech." The cab moves slowly in traffic, inching forward. Malik notices Amy's uneasy expression in the mirror and feels prompted to ask, "Is something on your mind?" Amy hesitates, then sighs. Sometimes people don't just ignore you, they remind you that you don't belong. Like, they'll just say stuff, thinking it's okay to treat you like trash." Malik gives a sympathetic nod. "Yeah, I know that feeling. Been driving here for over 15 years, and people still say things that, well, you know, things that make you question yourself." Amy's eyes meet his in the mirror. "You ever wonder why it has to be that way?" Malik thinks, his voice softer now. "I used to ask myself that a lot, back when I first started. It wears on you, but you learn to focus on the people who see you as human." Struggles at home and personal pressures. They're slowly reaching the Brooklyn Bridge as the sky darkens. Malik feels like they've reached a comfort level, so he asks, "What made you want to bartend?" Amy shrugs. "Didn't want to, really. Had to. My family's struggling, and I'm trying to keep us afloat. My mom can't work, and my little brother's in school. So, I just do what I can." Malik nods knowingly. "I get it. Got a family of my own. Sometimes you end up doing things you never thought you would, just because life needs you to." They share a moment of silence, both contemplating their lives, their families, and the sacrifices they've made. Body shaming and self-worth. Amy suddenly shifts in her seat, looking uncomfortable. Malik glances in the mirror, sensing her discomfort. "It's not just the job," Amy says, her voice low. "People, especially guys, they act like they're allowed to say whatever they want about my body. Like I'm some object." Malik's grip tightens on the wheel. "People can be cruel, especially when they don't know your story. Don't let anyone make you feel small because of their ignorance." Amy nods slowly, comforted by his words. "Thanks. I guess I needed to hear that." Finding connection and hope. By the time they cross the bridge, Times Square's chaos is behind them, and Brooklyn's streets are quieter. Malik pulls up to Amy's stop. He turns around, meeting her eyes with a warm, encouraging gaze. "Keep going," he says. "You're doing more than most people ever would. Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself." Amy smiles, her eyes glistening. "Same to you, Malik. You're out here every day, giving people a ride home. Sometimes I think people like us hold up this city more than anyone else." She hands him the fare, pausing before she exits. Malik nods, taking the money but offering her a respectful nod in return. "Take care, Amy," he says as she steps out, vanishing into the Brooklyn night. As Malik watches her walk away, he feels a small surge of pride, knowing that, in the middle of a city that often forgets people, they found a moment of connection that reminded them both they're not alone.